Okay guys, today we are starting this vlog with zinnias. Look how beautiful. Beautiful zinnias. Sounds like somebody else is working in their apartment. Look how gorgeous they are. Oh my god, just gorgeous. I am so glad that I planted these zinnias here. Look how pretty. These don't open, these stay that way. Look at this one. Oh my goodness, so pretty. And then you have these here that look like pine cones. I keep saying that, but that's just so true. And then we have some back here. These were planted right next to the tomatoes. Look how nice that is. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, I love zinnias. The simplicity of them is just so pretty. Let's see. Look how sweet. So sweet. The little things I look forward to in life. Green, green, green. It's very congested here. So we will start our garden tour. All right, get ready. It's going to be a long one. Those zinnias were beautiful. So welcome to Bronx Porch Homestead. And it is another fabulous day. I promised a garden tour, which I will get done. But I just wanted to share with you that yes, we have another project that we came up with from one day to the next, and that's what happens when you own a garden that is so small and you try to make the most of it. We did go out early this morning to get fencing, and I'll show you why in a little bit, but let's go back into the garden, and actually let's start in the front. And so we can do a nice complete garden tour of what we have growing so far. Okay, so this is definitely the official June 2022 Bronx Porch Homestead Garden Tour. So let me flip the viewer over so that you can walk with me, whoever's watching this, and I can proudly show you what's going on here. Okay, so we're going to start on the actual porch itself. There are 4 window boxes. They're a little dry now, but originally I had planted some bush beans there, and only 3 of the bush beans took, and that last 2, and then these kind of dried up. So we're underplanting some things there. But there are 4 window boxes here. We do have a lot of seating for us to just enjoy the garden we have here and down there. So this is a place where it just keeps us happy. There is some lemon balm there, which I'm drying. And there's some old stuff that I am not going to go and give it to the thrift store because I decided, hey, why not keep it? Other fun things we have that just make the garden happy and a nice place. Over here we have sticks that we painted, again just adding whimsy to the garden. Here we have green stalks. Now this year our green stalks, I put peppers in it, I put early broccoli. To be honest, I put these here just for the leaves, not for the actual vegetable. There is some early cabbage, same thing, I'm doing it for the leaves. I'm also doing it to experiment, so I want to see how far I can take these. There is a Brussels sprout here, that should be interesting, see how far that goes. Over here we do have some pine scotch tree seedlings. These are going to the parkland. And on this side we have container blueberries. We have about 8 container blueberries here. And let me just bring you up close a little further. You can see that these are blueberries. And then next to the blueberries is actually, there is mint. So all of this here is in containers. Nothing here is grown on soil. because there's nothing but concrete. Okay, so moving along, before I head over to the first level of the porch, I wanted to show you the trellis here. This is a honeysuckle vine. We planted it a couple years ago and it really took off. It's aggressive, by the way. It comes back 10 times stronger every year. But we are going to be using the honeysuckle for, I believe you can boil them down. So we have a lot of flowers this year that we can play with. So it's a really beautiful feature as you come up the stairs, and also it's edible. Just want to show you what that looks like up close. Check that out. They are gorgeous, and we have a bunch of these. Okay, so moving forward, I also mentioned we have lavender too. So the lavender, we don't really harvest that. We just we use it just for our own senses because it smells pretty. Over on this side, we have some lettuce that I'm growing, and I've already harvested this lettuce twice, by the way. And then, hold on, right behind me there are cabbages. So we have cabbages here, we have celery, and these are sunflowers. So not sure how far the sunflowers are gonna go because they need deep rooting, but I planted them there because they were extras. We are harvesting the cabbages. We're gonna be harvesting the celeries as well. We do have, as we walk down, so this whole entire bed in front of the house is 8 feet. And so we do have quite a bit of cabbages and celery there. And then once we transplant that out, probably some collards are gonna go in there. Over here, we have let the parsley and the cilantro go to seed. So that's what you see here. These are all going to seed here. But there is some parsley, cilantro. It's kind of hot to have that now, but I keep throwing seeds in there and they keep coming up. So that's that bed. And then over to the front here is our peach tree. So we have purchased this peach tree new this year, and this is it is a dwarf size peach tree, and for good reason. And that's because we have this humongous ornamental Kwanzaa tree. And so we didn't want both of them to compete with each other. That would not be good. So this is a dwarf size, and the leaves are awesome. The name of this peach is called Reliance Peach, and it gets quite a bit of sun. So I'm happy at the location that it's in because it's in the front and it faces that whole entire area up here where it does get a lot of sun. All right, we're gonna move along. So though the garden looks a bit congested, it's an urban garden, and it's just full of all these little secret areas. Like down there we have ivy. That's not something that I would recommend to put on a regular bed. We do have ivy here, but every time that it goes up the tree, we take it off, you know, because that's not good for the tree. But the look of the ivy is just something that it's just breathtaking for us. And then the second trellis we have, like I said, is this beautiful honeysuckle. We do have some roses. Just want to let you know, we do have some roses here. And that's not for us. That's actually for the parkland. So we do take care of other things that we bring out. There's a butterfly bush back there, over there, which we transplanted from where the peach tree was. It's doing okay. I haven't seen any flowers yet. This here is a lilac. That's one of David's favorite trees because it's got such a wonderful scent. So we're gonna come down the stairs, and we have this gorgeous hydrangea. Originally I was going to take that out and put some kind of berries there. I decided that this looks so beautiful, I couldn't bring myself to take it out and relocating it. But look how gorgeous these flowers are. And you know, these are the flowers I used to cut and would let them dry and put them in my pop's room when he was alive. And it's just so sentimental. These guys are lilies. And no, they're not native to us, but they did come from China, but they're all over the place. You usually find them on roadsides. People do stir fry those. I know I have a Korean community in the area, and they do like them for that. Down here are a couple of more weeds. And over here, this bed did really well with chamomile. So it's the third time or fourth time that I have harvested chamomile, and I put them in a jar. So I wanted these two to be chamomile also, but only one took. So the next time what I'll do is I'll see if I can get the chamomile better situated in this area. Okay, let's walk up the stairs. Yes, we have a lot of steps and a lot of concrete. Okay, so we're going from the front porch to the back porch. Okay, so this is the back area. Let's go over to this side here. Okay, so here we have a bunch of tomatoes. A lot of tomatoes. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's tomatoes here, there's tomatoes here, there's tomatoes here. This is a tree that's going to the parkland. Tomatoes, peppers, that's pepper, tomatoes, lilac. These tomatoes, the reason I have so many tomatoes here is because they are going to the schoolyard garden. These more tomatoes, these are indeterminate tomatoes, and they are already pretty big. These are also tomatoes. I'm transplanting 4 of those and keeping them myself and bringing them over. We do have a wall of ivy here. Again, when it gets out of control, we cut it and then we throw it away, but it doesn't climb anywhere up to the fences. Up there is a squash. You can see the vine. So the squash was planted over here. Now it's gonna come over to that side. And we have bees now, so I'm hoping that all of this stuff gets pollinated. Over here in this cute little eating area, we have more tomatoes. Look at this one. Look at the flowers already growing on here. A lot of most of the tomatoes that I got seeds from, they're all indeterminate tomatoes, which means they're going to keep growing. Quite challenging for us. We also have some roses that were planted here a couple years ago before we decided we were going to grow food. And that's a frame that I picked up from the trash. Somebody threw it across the street. It's actually a plastic frame, but it has aged because it's been there for 3 years. And you know, the weather has gotten to it, but it's so beautiful in the garden. And then I did add a couple of statues that I got on sale like years ago. So, I mean, moving forward, I don't intend to buy these items because they're, you know, I got these years ago and now my whole concentration is on growing food. But it does add to the whole, you know, garden ambiance. As we come up the steps here, I want to show you that these are melons and they are growing inside pots. They could do better though, they need more sun. This here is a cucumber. This here is a melon also in a pot. And this is another melon here. We have it trellising over, but then eventually we're going to bring the trellis over to that side. So this actually gave us the opportunity to think out of the box, literally, and see how we can support climbing cucumbers and melons and, you know, anything that needs a trellis. This is calendula, which is a flower that needs to be transplanted out. And we do have an addition this year. It's bees, honeybees. So we'll take a look at that later. So this is another trellis we have. And this trellis, we have the squash growing over it. I did have snap peas there, and they are done for the season. So I'll probably grow cucumber and then trellis that over as well, because I have a feeling that both of them are not going to do well here with the squash and the cucumber together competing for a place to anchor. And all back here, tomatoes took over. Check out all the tomatoes. Look at this pretty one here. Look at that tomato. Oh my goodness, there's so many tomatoes growing. I know it's hard to tell because everything is green, but the tomatoes are green. Look at this one, look at these two. Look at that. They are just coming in wonderful. Oh, we have a lot of yellow flowers all the way up there. Look at these here, look at these yellow flowers here. This is the most tomatoes I think we've ever grown. It's also the first time that I've planted so many indeterminate tomatoes as well. So this here is a big squash. This is a winter squash, and it's also taken over. Beautiful, gigantic Jurassic leaves, my daughter calls it. They're just so big. Let me move further back so that we can see it from all the way out here. This is an 800 square foot garden, but the planting space is only 250 feet. So tomatoes on planters, squash down there. We have basil, not parsley, basil, marigolds. We're going to be planting onions underneath now. David sneaked in a Brussels sprout. That's not going to do so well back there. But anyway, he wanted to sneak it in there. We'll see how it does. There's a sunflower right here that you see. And then in this bed, these are smart parts, by the way. Excellent product, as well as the metal planters that we've had. I have to admit, I'm so happy with all my containers. They really, they've done the job. Kale, Brussels sprouts, basil, more kale. That's early broccoli that I've been harvesting and giving it to the hens. Eggplant all the way on the very end. And then here's another. This trellis here is made out of a cattle panel. So that I learned from another YouTuber. So we did this trellis out of cattle panel, and then we added just fencing over on that side, and that was supposed to have been for the grapes, but it's not working out that way. We have peppers, eggplant, marigold, that one sneaked in there. Peppers, eggplant, more peppers, more eggplant. So we have intercropped them here. Zinnias that we started, right? We started our vlog with that one. Here's that squash leaf. I mean, it is huge. Look at that. This is my hand. Look how big this squash leaf is. It's gorgeous. This is a sunflower. And over here on this side, those are grapes over there. And there's grapes over here that have gotten tremendous, those leaves. We do have some hollyhocks. Let me see if I can show that. The hollyhocks have not flowered yet, but those are the leaves over there. And we have more tomatoes growing. Look at that, isn't that awesome? There's tomatoes over there. And they are planted in between the zinnias. The lupines did not take, and that's because there's a lot of shade on the bottom. But all of this is tomatoes, all of it. Tomatoes, sunflower, and a squash. Coming to this side are raspberries. The whole raspberry just took off. Look at all those raspberries. Those raspberries stalks. We don't have raspberries yet, but they should be coming in. This is our dwarf apple. We've had this dwarf apple for several years now, before we intensely started to grow food. Check that out. So we are getting more and more apples every year, and that's because we have been feeding this dwarf apple tree with Charlie and Holly's fertilizer. So excited. There's the sunflower. See the big sunflower there? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And this is the view from over here. See how so we're gonna let the squash vine actually go up to the tree. We're gonna use the tree as a support. And then at the end of the season, we'll just take it down. But in the meantime, we're just gonna let nature do its thing. I'm gonna need a glass of water after all that talking. So for such a small space, it really is a lot that we are growing, which is exciting for us because I feel like if I'm testing it, and you know, it's important for people to realize that they don't need a big space to grow food. You know, this is an urban environment. We have a lot of concrete. I do a lot of container gardening. We have hens, which they're making themselves known. But anyway, to continue, just want to show you that we do have containers even on top of the rabbit coop. So what started out as a chicken coop has turned into a rabbit coop. So Charlie and Holly are in there. I didn't let them out right now. I'm waiting for the sun to come down a little bit because it's really hot out. They don't like the heat at all. But they do have water in there. And then we have zucchinis that we planted, and the honeybees did their thing. So we have some zucchini. The sun is super bright. So I want to just show you a close-up of the zucchini. Isn't that awesome? Zucchini, squash. Some people call it one thing, but for me it's the same thing. It is a squash, a type of squash, but it's zucchini. It just looks so gorgeous. I'm so glad that the bees found the flower. I do have 3 of those, but I only see one plant that has been pollinated. Over back here are beans. So this is in the back of the coop, all the way in the back, and look, it's holding on to here, and some of them is actually climbing that fence over there. But these are beans. These are pole beans back there. I don't know how well they're gonna do. I need a longer growing season, I think. These are just seedlings, and what happens is when something doesn't go well here, we just transfer these over. These are onions, which we can still plant out. This is a potato, which we harvested already 4 buckets of potatoes within the past week. They were in here, and so we have had potatoes for breakfast with fresh eggs. So that's these guys. This is the last of them, actually. And this is a watermelon. We gotta get these guys to climb. Back here are blackberries. Now these blackberries are not doing as well as the raspberries. You can see they're very short in size. Let me go back to the beans here. Let me show you the beans. This is a very tight area. This is between the next property owner over here, that's their fence, and then this is ours here next to the coop. It's a very tight, it's not even an alleyway. It's like a 12-inch space between us. Blackberries, I'm gonna keep an eye on them. I'm not gonna take them out because eventually I think that they'll do well once the stalks come up. This here is Brussels sprouts. So we have Brussels sprouts here, and I planted 4 of them, again in smart pots. And then over to here's another honeysuckle. We don't see flowers yet. It's not an area where it gets too much sun, but this is another honeysuckle, and it's going across that way. And then this is our new addition this year. We have bees. So if you can see moving things around, I'm trying to get out of their way. That is their area, and they are doing unbelievably well because every time we check it, you could see that they are working, and they're you know, all those little slats in there, they're getting heavy, so I can't wait to harvest the honey. I don't want to get too close to the bees, like I said, because I don't have my gear on. But yeah, they are literally doing their job. And they haven't bothered anybody. I have not gotten stung. I work around them. So I guess they realize that we're letting them do their job and they're letting us do ours. So here's the view from where I'm standing by the coop, and we did put the greenhouses there, move them to the side. And so right now it's just housing some equipment that we have, some supplies. There's another smart pot with the Brussels sprouts. We have a nice little seating area here, and we placed market lights. You know, we grow food, but we also want to feel good in a garden that we're harvesting, not just harvesting and then bringing it to the kitchen. You know, here we can sit down and we can just count our blessings, even for the fact that we have this little space and yet it's growing so much food. Okay, so as I walk over to this side now, this is our plum tree. That's a new addition of ours, right? It's a plum tree next to the coop. This is a regular sized plum tree. So that baby is going to go over that fence, and we're going to share plums, my neighbor and I. And then we have a cherry tree in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. We have a cherry tree right here in the middle. And we do have some leaves. Seems like it has a little bit of fungus on it, so we'll have to treat that. But other than that, it's growing well. We have our tumblers here. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 tumblers in this home. Currently, we need another 2 more. And then over here, we have the peach tree. This is another dwarf tree. So we have the dwarf in the front, but we also have this dwarf tree that took off. So I actually saw a picture of what this exact tree looked like, the same cultivar and all. And it does grow up to 20 feet. So I don't know what dwarf means to them, but I'm excited because it means that, you know, it is going to come out, but it'll fill up this little area quite nicely, you know. And then David could continue to cut a little bit of the Kwanzaa. Okay, so we do have a setup here I want to show. This setup, it's a wheelbarrow, yes, but we're also processing poop. So we do sell rabbit fertilizer. We have 3 sales, our first 3 sales. And I'm excited. I don't know where we'll take it. We're just supplying to local people in the community, and you know, it's a good thing. It's like a little thing that I'm sharing with people in the community who want to have a better result with their houseplants, vegetables, and rabbit fertilizer certainly has done a job in our garden. I have to admit, it was, so we tried it ourselves because we wanted to make sure. We're very happy the fact that we tried that. Okay, if you can hear our ladies. So, our ladies. Hey ladies! I'm gonna go in the coop and show you guys the ladies. So this coop we purchased, it was a kit, right? So David put the kit together with his son, and then they actually built the run. Let me step back a little bit more. So this covers the patio part here. You can see that this is all patio. We share it with our roommates, which is why the whole thing is not a vegetable garden. But there's the chicken coop there. the kit, and then this is the run that was built, that David and his son built, which we needed to get. So let me go into the hen house. All right, ladies, I'm gonna show you off. Come on. These are the ladies. All right, so ladies, say hi. You're on the garden. You're in the garden tour 2022 of Bronx Porch Homestead. Yeah, so we have 6 ladies. There was one in there that was laying an egg, which is why she was probably cackling so hard. So we've had these young ladies here since November. So it's been 6 months. All right, girls? And then these are our girls. So I have to differentiate them because these are ladies and these are our chicks. So we ordered chicks and they came to us in April. This is their last week here in these cages. And the reason why they're in these cages is because they are being slowly introduced to the ladies, and the ladies are being slowly introduced to the chicks. But we did get 3 Americanas, 3 black stars, and 3 true whiting greens. So there's they do have roosts. They've learned a lot. I already heard one cackle for the first time. I thought that was so cute. This one is a true whiting green. Look at her. Oh my goodness, she's so beautiful. Well, the hens are nice and quiet now, so maybe they wanted to be on camera. So we're gonna continue. We have a couple more little things to show. Now it's just like little details. So we also feed birds, by the way. So David comes out in the morning and he feeds the birds. These are our hanging bird feeders here, and then he puts the suet in one of these. We also do have a fountain. And so the fountain, we fill it up with water, and the bees need water, so we do add water to that. Well, okay guys, that concludes the June Garden Tour 2022. Everything is growing wonderfully. I've enjoyed doing all these videos. It's something that I can look back to, something that my daughters can look back to, something for others to be motivated by, the way I have been motivated by many of the YouTube veteran homesteaders that are out there, you know. So it's been inspiring and it worked for me watching them. I hope that others also get encouraged to grow food and not depend so much on the system, not depend so much on government, which is all good, but you need to sustain yourself and not put yourself in a position where you may ever grow hungry one day. I firmly believe that if everyone is taught how to grow food and make that connection between a seed and their food, there would be less people hungry. And that includes rejuvenating the soil. They both go hand in hand. But Garden 2022, until the next time.